What is up, my little Deinos? Vepsis, your coach of the HAWLUCHA, and we are back for the UBL Season 4 Week 7 battle when we go up against one of the older GPA coaches that we still have around in OldManTup. Make sure to check him out. His YouTube channel will be down below in the description, and the matchup you can see right above my face cam. So let's go very briefly the team of 6 that I'm bringing for the final battle of the regular season. And this is gonna be the final battle that OldManTup will be having for his season, cause unfortunately he hasn't had such a strong run to be able to make to the playoffs. But for ourselves, this battle doesn't really matter really anything. This is just for fun, and I'm just gonna try to bring a very standard team and see where it takes me, and ideally we can win and finish out the season in 6-1 record, and whatever differential would end up being. But I'm not too stressed about this one. This is just to get it out of the way and provide the content for you all, since I'm already not only clinched the playoffs but also clinched the bye week for myself, 2 out of my division. So now, let's go through the team that I'm bringing, starting with my Corviknight, which is gonna be fully physically defensive, primary because of the Mammoth White and the Fly Guard that I want to deal with. And we are gonna be running Brave Bird, Default, Roost, and U-Turn. I thought about running Body Press on this, but I opted to have Default and U-Turn over that move, because I want to gain the initiative when I can, especially when Roto-Was is such a free switching, and I do want to remove any kind of hazards from my side of the field. So that's going to be the Corviknight. The next member of the team is going to be my Seismitoad, which is going to be running Skull, Toxic, Stealth Rocks, and Rest with a Chesto Berry. This is going to be especially defensive to deal with the Roto-Was, dealing with the Salazzo, and dealing with a potential special Flygon, for example, too. So pretty standard Seismitoad there. Like the first two are very standard, and this is why I kind of mentioned earlier on this video that this is going to be very basic team that I'm bringing. I'm not stressing about it too much. So that's the Seismitoad. Then we are going to be bringing a little bit more unique regards to its item, which is going to be my Galarian Weezing, which is fully physically defensive with 3 attacks and Pain Split, but it's going to be holding Red Card as its item, and this is something that I didn't come up with myself. This was actually a set that I saw my friend Martin considering to run in his playoff match when he ran into a HAWLUCHA in another league, and I thought it was a pretty cool idea, cause what Red Card does is basically once the opponent attacks you, it's gonna be removed from the battle, and that is huge versus HAWLUCHA when it relies on unburdened shenanigans and setting up. So if I can eliminate that one out of the picture, that's one of the biggest mons that he could potentially win versus me, like looking at the face value from the matchup in itself. So having something like this in the back felt just really stupid simple and very logical to bring, honestly. So that's pretty much the Weezing what we are here for. Then we are gonna be bringing a Choice Scarf Gengar yet again with some speed control providing for our team with Dual Stab, Energy Ball, and Thunderbolt. I could have had Dazzling Gleam, which covers both Flygon and HAWLUCHA, but I prefer the damage output from the Thunderbolt versus the HAWLUCHA, and the Flygon is not the biggest threat versus me. Knock on wood until it's gonna be messing me up when I say this. But I figured that the Thunderbolt is just better because it just gives me a lot better time to just OHKO the HAWLUCHA a lot more sooner than the Dazzling Gleam would have provided, because there's a base 10 difference from that, and it's gonna be showing in calcs actually quite a bit. So that's going to be the Gengar, and then we are gonna be bringing our Wall Breaker this week, which is going to be Guts, Facade, and Knock-Off Obstacle, and holding the Flame Up, of course, to pop up that. And then we are running Close Combat over something like Fire Punch, because I figured that after Obstruct, if Ferrothorn attacks me, it's going to be -2 defense. So it doesn't really matter for me to run Fire Punch or Close Combat on that scenario. So I figured that because I get the kill after the defense drop providing from the Obstruct move in itself, Close Combat is a lot more spammable and obviously a lot more stronger move to hit anything else that will come into me. Like Roto-Was is gonna take a shitload from it and get 2-shotted, and like any other fire resist for a upcoming potential Fire Punch that he could try to pivot into is gonna take a lot more from Close Combat in itself. So I figured that the fire coverage and the base power move of Close Combat will be more beneficial than the Fire Punch would be in the long scheme of things. And then we are gonna be bringing our mixed defensive send this course, which is primary there and pretty much only there to deal with the Gardevoir. It can also deal with the Ferrothorn quite well, and we are gonna be running the very standard set that I've been running with this thing. But it's too good, man, it's too good. Send this course has been really dependable mon throughout the season for me, considering the price that I pay for it being only 40 points. So we are running the red stock with Knockoff and Fire Lash. I know that the Gardevoir does trace my Flash Fire, which means that my stab move will be immune to it, but I'm not too stressed about it because I can always knock it off and kind of wear it down from there. And if it's a bulky Gardevoir, I'm not too stressed about it because that means that then the Obstagoon can outspeed it and kill it, so I'm not too stressed about that. And if it's a offensive set, it should not have any forms of recovery, so then Knockoff is gonna be eventually finishing it off, and ideally before he can finish me off. And that's pretty much why we have the mixed defenses there as well, to take Psyshocks and Psychics a lot better and not just be committed to take one of the two. So that's going to be the team, and now let's go and see how the final battle of the regular season is going to be going for us versus the OldManTup. Alright, we are connected with our opponent, and before I actually jump into the team review, I do want to mention that I changed one of my sets, and that was on Sentis course. Primary, the only minor difference is that I changed Knockoff into Power Whip, because I noticed that how little I actually can damage Roto-Wasp with that set. So I figured that because I do want to eliminate that mon as soon as possible, because obviously it's a very annoying mon to deal with in any particular matchup, I changed it to Power Whip, and now I have Fire Lash and Power Whip as my attacking moves. But now, let's go and see what OldManTup decide to bring for his final battle of this season in the UBL. And for me, this is the final battle of the regular season before my bye week heading into the playoffs. And he decides to bring Salazzle, Roto-Wasp, Ferrothorn, Gardevoir, HAWLUCHA, and Sableye. So no Mamoswine, which is pretty nice. And that kind of leaves Corviknight actually a little bit less pressure. Than basically it can only now have to do, or can only do that hazard control versus the Ferrothorn for me, which is pretty nice still to have. Sentis course is recognized for the Gardevoir. It can break down the Roto-Wasp and Ferrothorn. Sentis course actually looks really good versus his first four mons. Sableye will be a little bit annoying, but I think I can manage it. I have Obstacle, which can do a lot of damage to it. But overall, what do I feel like leading with? I could lead with my Obstagoon, which basically just puts a lot of pressure to him. The only thing that I don't like as a lead versus that would be the HAWLUCHA, but I don't see that being his lead of choice, so I'm gonna stick with that as my lead. I can obstruct and scout whatever is in front of me if they are choice locked, and go from there. So that is going to be my lead of choice, and we end up actually deciding around the same time our leads. And let's see how this is gonna be going. Good luck and have fun to OldManTup. I'm excited to go up against him because I have been a long-time GBA fan, and I remember him going up against some of the people that I used to watch a lot from that league, and I'm sure a lot of you were as well. And he decides to lead with the Roto-Wasp, which is understandable. Very safe and solid leader as usual. But I'm gonna be leading out with my Obstagoon, and now I'm just gonna be going for the Obstruct and scout what this Roto-Wasp is all about, and just ensuring that I get my Flame Orb activated and he doesn't, like, for example, trick me or Thunder Wave me. That would be really annoying. So that's what we are gonna be going for. No need to think about it too much. If I have to take hit with the Obstagoon versus this thing, so be it. If it means that I can really weaken down this Roto-Wasp for myself. And he does reveal to have the trick, which does go behind the Obstruct. I was surprised that that actually works like that. And he gives me choice specs. Okay. That is good to remember before going to the playoffs, that it actually works like that. But now he's actually Flame Top in itself. But now I pretty much go for the Knockoff here. But that was a hiccup on my behalf. Maybe that's because maybe that's something that I should really keep in mind going forward, because I always thought like Obstruct and Protect didn't really have too much difference besides the defense drop, but now I know the mechanic in itself. But the nice thing is that I do now limit your item in itself, and you actually give me the item back, so that's actually pretty nice for you, nice from you, OldManTup, that you did that for me. So I get my guts boost very soon for sure. And now he's gonna be going for the trick pretty much sooner than later, but at this point I feel like I can just go into my size method, because I can, I'm not gonna obstruct again and fail for that, the same trick literally, pun intended. And if he gets my size method trick, so be it. I don't think he's gonna be running rest, but that was pretty funny turn that he tricked choice specs out of me just to get burned himself, and now I'm like, okay, well, I got my flame off pass. That was a quite of a turn of events too, to be honest. But hey, we learned something new today, and it's not too late for me to learn fully the mechanics of this generation, and including one of the signature moves of my Mon. To be honest, that was a wet potato that I haven't checked that, but now he does go for the wall switch, which is nice that he doesn't get that right for himself. And now I could see him doubling into the Sentiscots, as our connection might be having some issues. This is the first time, knock on wood, that I have had these kind of issues, and it happens to be versus our OldManTup. And hopefully this doesn't... Okay, we are back on running things. That was the first time, and hopefully the last time I have to deal with some shenanigans like that. But now I could see him swapping into the Ferrothorn for sure, and I could consider swapping into my Sentiscots immediately. But I think what I could do here is that I could go for the Skull, get the burn on it, or I could just swap hard into the Obstagoon and just be able to get my... Oh, I remember that I don't actually have the Flame on because I knocked it off from that thing. So I could just swap into the Obstagoon, get the knockoff off on it, or I could go in... I think I Sentiscots is the play. Let's not think about this too much. Let's keep up the offensive pressure and go with that. The Obstagoon is kinda nullified at this point. Oh, he does go into the... Okay, he does go into the Sableye of all things. I didn't expect that to be his swap, but this Sableye might be my way of still getting myself statused. So I'm gonna use that opportunity for myself. Or I could just stay in here, but I feel like the knockoff is definitely coming into my way. So I'm gonna be using my Obstagoon as a pivot for that, and go from there. But Sableye is definitely gonna be annoying for me to deal with, even though I have Galarian Weezing, because Galarian Weezing is very heavily based to deal with the HAWLUCHA, which is brought to this matchup. So it's kinda annoying to see this Mon be brought into this game, which I'm a little bit underprepared for, to be honest. But we're gonna be just try to manage from there. He does swap out, which is interesting play, and he does go into the... Okay, he does go into the Salazzle as his former way to pivot around this. This could be my opportunity, honestly, just get a knockoff on the Salazzle and see what he's all about, because I don't want my Sentiscots necessarily taking too much damage from it. The knockoff is kind of annoying that I eliminated from that Mon, because it was one of the way to hit this Salazzle very hard, but I could honestly just stay in. I could see him going for a Toxic, so that's why I'm tempting to just stay in and go for the knockoff, and hopefully he tries to predict Size Method or Sentiscots on this turn and go for, like, I don't know, Will-O-Wisp or Toxic. If he Toxics me, at least I get myself status, which helps me out. But that turn of events, the first two turns were literally wet potatoes, because I thought I got tricked back to my Flame Up, but then I realized later on when I see Obstacle without an item that, oh yeah, I don't have Flame Up any, like, I didn't get the Flame Up from it back because I just knocked it off. But now maybe there's an opportunity for us to now get status by this thing. The other option would be the Sableye having a status move, but he does go for the substitute, but that's okay by me, because I have a good amount of special defense investment with my remaining IVs, and Obstagoon is naturally very bulky, so I'm just gonna stay in and go for the knockoff. If he has to attack me, so be it. I remove his passive recovery, so the substitute shenanigans won't get him too far from there. And that's pretty much what I'm gonna be doing. If he does go for the Toxic, that's better for me, and we'll see how he reacts to this. I would expect him to attack me and not wanting to status me, because then he can lift the knockoff a lot easier. But we'll see what he does. He could go for the Toxic if he feels like he wants to rack up the damage. or he tries to predict the switching, but he does swap out, and he does go into the Old and Faithful, which is the Ferrothorn, which is perfectly fine by me that he does this kind of play. He's gonna be wearing me down with the Iron Bobs, and we see that he loses his leftovers. So this is a particular turn where he could go for the Stealth Rocks, and he could go for the Body Press and hit me very hard with that. But I could go for the Close Combat and just weaken this thing down, because it's very annoying versus my other members of my team, and it would be really nice to get rid of it. So I'm gonna be going for the attack, even though there's a chance I just die on this turn, and I lose obstacle in here, where there's a benefit for me to maybe go for the obstruct and get the defense drop if he attacks me. But I feel like there's a decent chance he tries to get his Stealth Rocks off, because he doesn't lose. Like, if he attacks me and I go for the obstruct, he loses a turn from that. Whereas if he goes for the hazards, he at least gets something out of the turn. And I feel like that would be his play of choice. But we are gonna be seeing right now what he's gonna be going for. He could go for the Body Press and I'm gonna be dying right here. But he does go for the Leech Seed. So that is his play of choice, which is perfectly fine. Because now I could definitely see him going for the Protect on this following turn, which is fine by me, because I can hard swap into my Sentiscots on this turn and go from there. I don't foresee him going for the knockoff on this turn, because there's an obstacle in front of me. I expect him to go for the Protect, and if he would go for attacking move, worst comes to worst, it would be something like a Body Press and one of his stab moves. I don't expect it to be knockoff unless this is literally his only attacking move on this thing. But we are gonna be seeing what he's gonna be doing. He does stay in, so let's see what he does. He could go for the Stealth Rocks, knowing that he can live a one hit, and that's what he decides to do. He does go for the Stealth Rocks, which is a fine play by him. And this is where I can pretty much go for a Fire Blast for free. If the Roto-Wasp comes in, I always have a free switch and do that thing. And now I'm gonna be chipping that thing down. Thankfully, I guess the Flame Orb is helping me out, because it's gonna be reducing its health by 6% each turn. But he does go into the Salazzo, which in itself is okay by me as well, because I do have Restock on this, and I do get the defense drop at first. And that's gonna be doing good amount of damage already. So I'm gonna be always breaking this thing Substitute. And I could see him going for the Toxic, but it's not gonna take him anywhere. So I'm gonna be going for the Fire Blast yet again. And after that I can proceed to either predict the Gardevoir, or I go for the rest eventually. But he doesn't deal with this thing too well in itself. And once I get rid of the Stealth Rocks, I don't have to fear the Sableye either if it happens to have knockoff to remove my heavy duty boots. The only thing that I would have to worry about right now dealing with the Sableye, if it has Taunt, it has Will-O-Wisp, and it has something like knockoff on it and Recovery. That could be quite annoying set for me to break down, or it would have like something like Toxic as well. But he does go for the Toxic on the Salazzo on my Sentiscots, which is fine, because I have the Restock on this set. And I do go for the Fire Blast, weaken him down once more, and that is going to be doing really good amount of damage. If the Gardevoir comes in, I don't really mind it too much, because I'm still like 94% of health as of right now. When I take this and the following turn, I will be still a good amount of range of health taking the following move. So I'm gonna be just going for the Fire Blast, not worry about it too much. If he goes into the Roto-Wasp, so be it. I have a Seismitoad in the back to deal with it from there. And I get some chip damage on that thing, so it would be easier for me to revenge kill with my Gengar. And he does go into the Roto-Wasp. I could have tried to predict it and go for the Power Whip, but I don't think it's necessary right now to predict when I get some guaranteed damage on this thing. And that did a good amount of damage to him, and he's gonna be around what I would guess is 20% of health, or right below it. And if it's gonna be below it as it is, it's gonna be red health, and that's perfectly fine by me. So now I'm gonna be going to the Seismitoad and proceed from there. And this Roto-Wasp is pretty much dead unless it packs Pain Split as alongside with the Trick, but I don't foresee that being the case, but we'll see. You never know, he might be only running Dual Stab, a Volt Switch and Hydro Pump, and then have Trick and Pain Split if that was his initial thought of that he will trick it very quickly on that mode, but he does trick once more, which is a little bit annoying, but it was expected because he didn't have any item to hold. Well, he had the choice specs, I guess, so he gave me choice specs of all no moves. So this Rotomas is kind of messing me off at this point, but it is okay, I suppose. I do have now choice specs Scald sitting right there what I could be clicking, but and I might actually go for it because I still get have a chance to get a burn on Ferrothor, which would be nice. And if he preserves this Rotom, it's going to be dying to another Fire Laser, which he will be doing. And now he's gonna be going into the Ferrothor, which I believe will be the Mon. And hopefully we can catch a Scald burn on this thing. I haven't been too lucky with Scalds in my Draft League career, but maybe this is a turn of events and I do actually get the Scald burn, which is really, really nice, because that's gonna be hindering this Mon quite officially. And I can proceed from there. He could be going for the lead seed for all I know. But I'm gonna be using Corviknight for this. I didn't need Corviknight more else than this Ferrothorn. And it can also kind of soft check the HAWLUCHA as well. But I have another check for that thing in my... what do you call it? In the Galarian Weezing. But I expect him to go for the lead seed on this turn, as he does. But he misses, which is really huge. I'm sorry, OldManTup. That's really, really tough. That you missed that, and that actually gives me opportunity to claim the kill, and I can defog later on if I so choose to. But I think this would be the turn that I go for the defog, so I ensure that the rocks will be away. So I'm gonna be doing just that. I'm gonna be going for the defog first, even though I could kill this thing, just to ensure that they are away, and then Galarian Weezing will guarantee live a hit, barring a critical hit, Clock or Wood from the HAWLUCHA in itself. But he's gonna be able to gain some recovery. But I'm gonna be going for the Brave Bird after this. And I would like to think I can still kill a Ferrothorn at this point of health. I'm gonna be checking it just in case, as I open my cogs. We're gonna be seeing Ferrothorn. I believe standard OU set is fully physically defensive. Corviknight, as we put my Jetfire here. We are gonna be doing 20 to 24%, so we probably will not be killing him at this point. So I could go for the U-turn here and go from there, but I think I'm gonna be going for the Brave Bird first. I guess now looking at the cogs in itself, this is probably why the one time you should be calking is that I would have been able to guarantee that the Stealth Rocks won't be up, but right now he will be able to get them up on this particular turn, I believe. Which is gonna be really annoying, and he does get them up. So now I think that it's just gonna be by my best interest just to try to defog versus Sableye, I think, if I can, as long as he doesn't have taunt. And we're gonna proceed from there. Like, it's a little bit annoying that I guess I could have just finished this thing off and I would have been a better amount of health, but it was a worth a try, I guess. Without really doing that card. Are there any other things that I could defog on? Gardevoir, I can still live a hit, I believe. So I think I have to finish this thing off. Like, I'm losing health and like there's no point of doing this. So I'm gonna be going just for the Brave Bird and just proceed from here and see where it takes us. So I still have two Mons, at least Gardevoir and the Sableye, that I can defog on, depending on what kind of sets they are themselves. But we do take a good amount of recall, so that's not really too nice. But this probably gives the either Rotowas or the Salazzle a free switching. But for Rotowas, I don't really mind it because I have Seismitoad kind of soft checking it even with the choice specs. Because now Scald is pretty free, barring the Gardevoir having the trace, and he does go into the Salazzle right here. So now I am pretty much free to go into my Centiskorps, even if he tries to predict this and goes for the substitute shenanigans, because I have Rest Talk on that thing, and I'm pretty sure I take a Sludge Wave from this thing. And based on the fact that he has substitute, he has Toxic, I don't anticipate it to have Nasty Plot anymore, unless he's running like Mono Stab, but then he cannot either hit the Corviknight or he cannot hit the Centiskorps, so I'm not too much worried about anymore a setup shenanigans being the case. And he does go for the substitute. There was a potential opportunity for me go for the defog right there, but I think my opportunity will still come. And now he's probably gonna be going for the slot sway, which is perfectly fine by me. But now I'm gonna ensure that I remove this toxic on my send discords, and I pretty much tank the hit from it as well before it. And he's probably gonna be going for the slot wave as he does. We should be able to tank this quite well as we do, and it's gonna be taking us about a half amount of health up, but that won't matter any means, because we get the rest off. And this is where we are basically slowly but steadily ensuring beating this Salazzo 1v1. So he's gonna be able to gain a little bit of health, but I don't think we should be giving him too many turns that it should be turning out to be an issue. And here we are just gonna be going for the restock. Ideally I get Fire Lash, so I get the defense drop on the substitute play. He does go for the slot sway, which does a decent amount of damage, I suppose. But once I break the substitute, I'm pretty much set to go right here. And now we are gonna be hopefully getting the Fire Lash as we do, so we are getting lucky with that. And knock on wood, we remain to not be unlucky with it. And I think the defense drop still should happen, or it doesn't actually happen on the substitute. So once I actually hit this thing, then it will provide me that. And thankfully, because how low he's on health, he cannot go for the substitute again. We are gonna be tanking this thing, hit quite well, and after the following turn I can pretty much rest up yet again. So let's go send this goes, let's get the another Fire Lash ideally. We do get the power whip, so this is gonna be doing literally nothing because it's quarter resistant hit. But that's okay, because now I pretty much get the rest yet again, and he is not in amount of health that he can kill me off. So we are gonna be going for the rest and keep ourselves healthy at this point. And now, because he is so far off of getting another substitute, I should be able to beat it 1v1 a lot easier from here. And we do live on 2, and now we get the rest off, and there we go. Send this ghost is back at running at things. We are pretty much good to go. I could make a very ballsy play into my Gengar, which I'm kinda tempted to do, because there's no way he's clicking flamethrower on this turn, and I would be able to kind of finish this thing off quite quickly. And that could be the play. I could also go into Seismitoad because I tank any hit and I can go for the Scald from there. But I'm kind of feeling frisky, so I'm gonna be doing the Gengar play right now. I don't anticipate him to click anything else than the poison move, and I quarter resist it with Gengar. So I can outspeed it and finish it off and go for the Shadow Ball. There should not be any immunities to that. And let's see what he does. And he does go for the Slot Sway, but we tank this hit really well because it's a quarter resistant hit, and we also get the Cursed Body. So if I would like to, I can swap out, but I don't feel like that's anymore necessary. I can just go for the Shadow Ball, and there's nothing he can do about it. And I'm Joy Scarf, so I will outspeed him. I do give him information that my Gengar is Joy Scarf, but that's pretty much all he gets out of this turn. He's gonna lose one of the mons that now my Sendiscourse doesn't have to deal with anymore. And now it's gonna be more freed up to deal with the Gardevoir, and I was managed to put it back on full health, so I have a switching to that thing unless it's Choice Specs. But he does preserve the Salazzo, and this is where we are gonna be seeing that he does sack the Roto Watts, which is nice because this mon was very annoying. It put a lot more work because of my wet potato-ness on my Obstacle and pretty much nullified that thing. But it's okay, I preserved a sack in Obstacle, and he now had to give up on his in the Roto Watts, and now let's see what he goes into. He would think that I'm Choice Car based on that he swapped out and based on how I brought my mon in. And he's gonna be going into the Super Blah, which is going to be the Sableye. And at this point, do I just go into my Seismitoad so I get knocked off? I think I do. So we're gonna be doing just that and see that if he packs Taunt or not. But I do wanna get rid of that Choice Specs on my Seismitoad, so I'm freed up to click my moves. And that would be a lot nicer thing to do, and would give me a potential opportunity to learn if he has Taunt or not. I would think Sableye usually would like to run that, but we are gonna be seeing if that is the case or not. And he does go for the Shadow Ball, so that is his move of choice, but I am specially defensive Seismitoad, so we tanked that quite well. And now I'm curious that do I wanna just click Scald, or do I go for the Toxic? Toxic seems really tempting, so I'm gonna be attempting to do that. off the chance he makes the Gardevoir play and goes into that. He doesn't know my full set, so maybe he has to worry about me clicking Earth Power, but I try to go for the Toxic. He does go for the Will-O-Wisp, but that's perfectly fine. As long as I land this, then I can definitely manage this Sableye once it's been Toxic. And there we go, Seismitoad, that's what I like to see. We do put the Toxic on this thing, and that's really nice, because now I can go into my Obstagoon. If he burns me, so be it, but and if he goes for the Shadow Ball, even better, because my Obstagoon is obviously really able to wall its Dual Stab quite well. We are immune to one and the other one is resistant, and we already lost our item, so I don't think Obstagoon has to really worry about this Sableye anymore, because we got it on a timer. Without the Toxic, my Obstagoon couldn't beat it by a mile, like a long shot, by any means. So getting that Toxic off, him not going for a taunt if he even had it. There's actually, now thinking about it, he has Shadow Ball, he has Will-O-Wisp. Maybe there's room still for a taunt as well, but he might be running Dual Stab, so he doesn't get hard walled by my Obstagoon, for example. But let's see what he goes for. He might be going for the Shadow Ball yet again, but maybe he tries to swap out his moves, but he does go for the Shadow Ball, which is fine by me, because now I can go for a Knockout, which is really nice, and eliminate any of the items that he has on his remaining mons, because he has Ferrothorn, which is already dead, he had the Roto-Wasp, which is already dead, and the other things items I'm not too sure about in this HAWLUCHA and this thing having the passive recovery items in Black Slug and Leftover. So I do get the Knockoff off, which is still doing good amount of damage, not gonna lie. And he has Dazzling Gleam, really interesting, but that should not be able to take me out. And that's quite nice for me. And this is pretty much where I can actually go into my Corviknight, because I do want to remove these rocks from my side of the field. But then it would mean that I would get burnt, which I'm not too sure if I want to do that. But I feel like I need to remove the rocks, so Weezing guarantee lives a +2 hit from the HAWLUCHA in itself. So I'm kind of tempting to actually take this opportunity to remove the rocks. I need to ensure that I don't lose to the HAWLUCHA. If Corviknight gets burned in the progress, so be it. But I'm gonna be doing this play just to make sure that I eliminate those rocks. Just yet again, Weezing is the clone that I want to deal with that thing, as he goes for the Dazzling Gleam yet again. If he doesn't actually, since he now did not recover, let's see if the Toxic actually takes him out on this turn. This could actually mean that I pretty much position myself where the HAWLUCHA doesn't get a chance to set up, and he does die to it. So I kind of played it in a way that I was ensuring, I guess, the HAWLUCHA not setting up, which wasn't my primary purpose, as you can tell. But it kind of played out in a way that I was able to do that anyways. And now he does go into the HAWLUCHA, and at this point there's an opportunity for me to yet again try to go for the defog. He has the Gardevoir left, and I guess I'm gonna take that opportunity. I'm gonna be going for the defog and see if he tries to attack me on this point. He might be thinking that, okay, it doesn't really matter if I try to predict the Centiskorps because it's asleep, and that's perfectly fair, but I don't think I get too many defog opportunities. He literally only has the Gardevoir left, and I'm already so low amount of health, so he does pick me off with the Fire Type move, and that's gonna be end of Corviknight. So now I'm kind of banking on the fact that I get the Weezing in only when it really matters, and at that point I basically just make sure that I still have the red card. So as long as it's not the last one on the field, that would be, I guess, the most annoying situation that I could run myself into. But now I'm just gonna be going into my Gengar, I'll lock myself into Shadow Ball. There's no defensive play he has left that he can make. He doesn't have any sacks. Basically the sack that he has is in the field in itself. So I would like to get rid of this thing. So Centiskorps then deal with the Gardevoir, and the HAWLUCHA in itself I have to basically kind of see that if he decides to if he brings it right now, I hard swap into the Weezing. If he goes into the Gardevoir, I probably go into my Centiskorps and just attack it. But let's see, the HAWLUCHA is a threat, man. It's a threat in traffic format. People sleep on it too much, even without the terrain. It's a huge problem in this generation when it gets close combat and it gets Spray Bird as well. But he does going to the Gardevoir, which means that he can guarantee live a hit, but I do want to preserve this thing. So what I'll do is that I'm gonna be sacking my Obstagoon just to get a free switching into my Centiskorch, and then I can go from there. He has Curse Body now that he was able to trace, which would be annoying if that activates on a very unopportunic type. If he goes for a substitute here, predicting me preserving Gengar, my Obstagoon still can outspeed it and go from there. But let's see what he does. If he does go for the Psychic type move, we are immune to it. But I would like to think he predicts this. And he does go for the Moonblast. Nice play, OldManTup. He does the play that he needs to. And it goes for the Moonblast on this particular turn. And now I am pretty much going into my Centiskorch because I should be able to get a current, like one of my attacking moves off on this thing. Unless I get very unlucky with the Sleep Talk. And pretty much one of my attacking moves, unless he has a good amount of bulk investment, it should guarantee me a 2-shot. And if I get the Fire Blast, then I'm definitely 2-shotting him. But now he does swap into the HAWLUCHA, man. Here's the big threat, man. But if he tries to set up on this turn, I'm gonna be hard swapping into my Weezing. And it's actually better that he brings it in right now when he still has the Gardevoir left, because that gives me the opportunity to use my red card like successfully. And after this, my Gengar can outspeed it with Choice Scarf once we nullify the Unburden. But let's see what he does. We go into my Galarian Weezing, which holds the red card, which is pretty much the saving grace right now that I do have it. And he does go for the Sword Dance. And this is where it all comes down to, man. This threat right now. Come on, Weezing. Come on, Weezing. Come on, Weezing. You can do this. Come on. Come on. Live this hit. Okay, he does go for the substitute. So that's really a bit annoying that he's doing this, but it is oh my, I'm gonna be missing, man. That Weezing, we don't need this, man. Come on, now you need to live this hit. That's really unfortunate that I missed my 95 accuracy move, but let's see what he does. He does go for the close combat, so he does as little damage as possible to me, which is actually the perfect case scenario, because now he has to swap out, and now the Gardevoir has to come in. I could have, I guess, gone for the Slot Spot, which would have been honestly a lot better play, because now I can miss this, and it would have been super effective on Gardevoir. But let's see. He's gonna be tracing my Levitate, which is fine, because I don't have ground type attacks on my team. But now we land this, which is really nice. But the one... Oh, we do get the confusion on this thing, so that's really nice. And now I pretty much have to preserve this thing for the health in itself. And now I just go into my Centiskorch and deal it from there. And I have to burn one of my Sleep Talks from here. Sorry about that. I swear to God, I don't have the virus, man. I can tend to cough when I'm nervous, I swear. No joning. He does go for the Psychic, he snaps out of the confusion, but we can tank that quite well. And now we go for another Sleep Talk turn here. And even if he swaps out on the following turn, I can still wake up. And let's see, he does go for the Psychic yet again. Ideally, I get one of my attacking moves right here, so I get some really clean damage on this thing. Which basically should ensure that it's in a range of Shadow Ball, and then Gengar can clean up the game. But we do get the rest yet again, so that's really unfortunate. But now I do go for the attacking move, and ideally we live this Psychic on the following turn, and he does go for the Psychic. Come on, Centiskorch. So come on, Centiskorch. Come on, Centiskorch. Now you don't live it, so that's really unfortunate. But now I'm gonna be doing a quick calc versus a Gardevoir, if it's going to be that versus my Gengar. I pretty much have to ensure that the Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave should be doing 82% to him. So unless he has the right proper berry, Gengar might be able to clean up the game right from here. So that's what I'm banking on, that we bring our Gengar in and we go for the Sludge Wave, and ideally it's gonna be getting the kill. Unless he's like a Southwest, this could turn really bad, but this is my only play that I have left. So let's go for the Sludge Wave. Ideally Gengar can clean up and get the 2 kills. I don't know what kind of role it's gonna be on the HAWLUCHA. I don't actually remember what health he's at, but it's probably like 75 or 76% because he did the substitute play on it. So that's probably the amount of health he has left. And now we go for the Sludge Wave. Come on, Gengar, please get this kill. Please get this kill. There we go, I believe that's a kill. Let's go, Gengar. And now the final mod remains. The scariest mod on his team is still left, which is called After Vepsis, and I can appreciate that. And now we actually got disconnected. Was that the actual turn that... I don't know if that was on purpose or not from my opponent's behalf, but I'm gonna be talking about this after the on the Disco. Maybe OldManTup decide to run from that point and then figure that okay, that was the end of the game. And if that's the case that he decided to do that, you know what, good game to OldManTup. Thank you for being able to play this 1 hour prior that we agreed to, just to get it out of the way. And we still got it up. We are actually playing this on Wednesday, which is the upload day, so we are really pushing on the deadline. But this happens to be the case that I tried to schedule with him on Saturday, and he came back to me on Monday or something like that. So we kind of got it pushed towards to a little bit too late, ideally. But you're gonna be seeing this either still today on Wednesday, or you're gonna be seeing it tomorrow on Thursday, one day later than normally. But thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for the APA Academy week 3 battle for when we go up against the... what was the... it was Platinum HAWLUCHA, I think that was his name, that we go up against him on week 3. And regards to the UBL, we are in the playoffs, but we have a bye week next week, so no uploading from my behalf unless I want to look into the playoff picture. But it might be a week that I take off, sit back and relax and just check the other people who made to the playoffs. And make sure that you do that yourself. Join the Discord so you know exactly what's going on in the UBL Season 4 and you won't be missing out the action. And check out the coaches down below. And check out my opponent, OldManTup, yet again. But until next time, thank you all for watching yet again. I'm gonna be seeing you guys later.